Welcome to my virtual campfire. I'm Crystal Kelly. In Season 2, I am exploring with you as masters of our own experience in an epic and unique time in the history of conscious life. We are all being called to do something unknown. I'm turning to the ancient wisdom when fire was the quantum shift that catapulted humanity. Now, we are the shift. When we connect consciously, we are connected with the new earth. We become the new earth human family. Through vibrations and conversation, let's enter this superhighway of consciousness and co-create within the quantum realm of light. In episode 26, I'm talking to the OHMNISCIENTS. The OHMNISCIENTS are a group of 3 sound weavers, Joey McCune, Megan Taylor, and myself. Joey is a sound healer who envisioned and built a sound temple in Tulum, Mexico. Megan is a DJ from Chicago and plays all over the country as well as in Tulum. And I am the 3rd OHMNISCIENT. Together we created a debut album at Joey's Sound Temple called The Quantum Realm. This conversation is a reflection of creating the quantum realm as well as a manifestation of how this album can help heal. Our healing journey is collective, and we wonder, where will all of this take us? Well, it's kind of wild because all 3 of us haven't been together since we did the studio session, our first studio session at Mob, which was like in June. Was that June? July. Wow. And it's November already. Wow. This is crazy.
I know, but we talk all the time, so that's fun.
No, we do. And our project is like, I think it's powerful. I think like what we created was like whatever like came through us was it's really powerful. And I'll tell you why I know why is because this whole process has been super healing for me personally. Like there's, I didn't know that I was missing this type of vibration in my life. And I feel like my soul's sort of been like pulling for it, like for a really long time. And I didn't know exactly how or what. I just had this feeling that I felt like I knew how it was going to feel when it was right. And I don't know, this project and making this album and this music has like fulfilled this, like, I don't want to call it a hole in my soul, but something that kind of needed to be filled up for me. And so I've been having a lot of like just really deep remembering and getting to know myself through this process, which is so awesome because like sharing this with you too has been amazing. Like I have so much love in my heart for both of you and for who you are, and just I don't know what it's done to my life. It's been wonderful. So I'm excited to have you guys here. I didn't think I was gonna cry. I don't know why I would cry, but
oh, that's wonderful. Let it out.
I just want to say, Crystal, thank you for sharing that vulnerably. And I have like similar like learns and openings for myself out of the project. And I just think we could have that conversation in our podcast. Yeah. And you should share that.
Okay.
But I just appreciate your tenderness and the vulnerability right now, because I think it's really sweet. And I feel very similarly.
I know it's been, I don't know. It's like, it surprises you sometimes. You don't know what's really important to you until like you see it. And then you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. Like we're like so different and so like almost nothing in common, but we could come together and create like this random yet really awesome. Like every time I listen to it, I'm just like, this is awesome. You know, like each track has a different feeling. And, you know, I feel like we channeled it. Like it's more than creating something. It's like, it came through us. And like, it's been awesome because I think your guys' awesomeness and like how, I don't know how to describe it. Like, you know, when things almost seem too easy and you're like, wait, is this too good?
Effortless.
Like, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to question things anymore. If something's easy, that means that's the way it should be.
Yeah.
You know? So like,
save this for the podcast. This is so good.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. And we're just jumping into it. So we're, I can use all that stuff that we already said, and I'll even put me crying in there, even though I don't like to cry on my own podcast, but that's okay. So okay, the 11/11 portal is tomorrow, and I've been, and I know this is going to sound crazy, but I've been really getting in touch with the light beings that I came into contact with in Russia when I was in the Altai Mountains in 2021. And I don't know why, but music has really opened up my my clair skills. Like I've always been somewhat psychic and telepathic, and I have these skills, but I don't always trust myself to use them. And for some reason, since we started making music, it's really like opened me up a lot. And so the 11/11 portal is a really powerful manifesting day for 2021, because after 2021, we have 2022. And what I've been told is it is abundant. There's, we're going, if we're on the right path, we're going to see a lot of abundance in our lives, and a lot of, and we'll have a lot of gratitude. And so I think I can't honestly think of two better people to talk to on a day to manifest abundance and happiness and just all things wonderful as Joey and Megan. And so I was thinking, Megan, since you were kind of the last puzzle piece to sort of fall into place, then we start with you on how this has affected your journey and what the omniscience means to you, and what the process is and how you feel about everything.
Oh, yes, I could talk probably for a long time about that. And what I love about what you just reflected was you talked about the power of music and the power of music healing people. And I was just like deep on the interwebs, you know, and I do a lot of research because I'm a DJ on the power of music. And I've always had gifts as a DJ, largely around my own intuition. And I think that's one of the reasons I've been successful at it. But it wasn't until later in my life, really when I started to honor the more feminine side of myself, that I really understood what my gifts were and how to use them. And I have felt such a lack of intention and sort of being kind of integrity with what I do, because I play a lot of parties, I play a lot of music, and it's still fun, it's still fulfilling, it still serves a purpose. But I know there's such a power outside of that sort of setting. And so I have really, really wanted to sort of tap into music and use it in a way that's healing. And what I was saying about the interwebs, I was deep on the interwebs, I could call it the internet today. And it was like, and everybody that sort of tapped in is talking about how music is like is our future for healing people. And we only use, I think in what music can do, we probably use like 5% of its potential. Like, I think it's going to be a huge tool, and we can talk about some of the things that I'm interested in and what we're doing. But I think it's really given me with this project an opportunity to like be much more of service through music and really affect and help people and inspire people in a way that, you know, that I haven't traditionally been able to do. So I'm super, super grateful for that, and to be brought in on this project for that reason. And I think there's something really special, and I've learned a lot about collaboration, because when I gratefully got asked to join, I mean, I didn't really know what I was doing. I didn't really know either of you. And there's something so beautiful about leaning into these opportunities without feeling like I need to know, which is such a huge lesson for me. And to lean into, like, we were in such a space of like play and following our gut, and we didn't take it seriously. And look what it's become. And so there's so many lessons, I think, in the way that we made this album. And then also in collaboration, I think it's kind of hard to collaborate with 3 people, especially across the country. Like, not that it's hard, there's just no roadmap. And so to really navigate that and honor each other's talents and on each other's like opinions and learn from each other, I think is actually a huge opportunity for me too.
Yeah, it's really amazing how when I first reconnected with Joey, right around when 2020 was starting, I had brought my kids, like my family and our exchange student, down to Mexico, and we visited Joey in her sound temple, and it was amazing. And I didn't know at that time why we reconnected. And, and you never, like you said, there's no roadmap. And so I felt like when Joey and I were kind of brainstorming this idea, and we even had it booked, like we had it, the dates planned, it still felt like there was something missing. But I thought, we're smart, we can figure it out. We're gonna do it. And if not, we'll just have fun. That's, kind of how I saw it. And so when Joey mentioned that she had met you just like a few days before that, I was like, that's it. Like you, it was like we were just waiting for you to enter our lives, and it was kind of magical a little bit.
Yeah, I have so much appreciation, and that's like a whole story in itself. Like you go like Joey's Sound Temple. I always say Joey's extra, right? So like I found her on Instagram and I was like, what is this place? And then I wasn't going to see her because I was like by myself. And then I had friends come and then she was booked and then someone canceled. And then I came and I was like, where the fuck am I? This place is insane, magical. And who is this woman in all white emerging from the jungle like a goddess? And what is happening to me right now? Like it is like a blow away experience.
Totally.
And I left and like, of course you want to be like Joey's friend, but like, can I come again? But I didn't want to be like that person. But then when I was messaging Joey that next morning, and I shared this on my Instagram post, I was actually talking about how I really want to be more intentional and make healing music. And then we went back and forth on voice memos about ideas. And then she was like, do you want to come and do this project? Let me check with Crystal. So it's such a divine story. And I have so much gratitude for you inviting me in, for both of you, for your vision for this, like, because you didn't have to. And I'm grateful for that.
It's just amazing. I want to hear from Joey.
You guys are going to make me cry. I think you have to understand something about me. And, most people know me as a businesswoman in Seattle. And, 12, 15 years ago now, I guess 15 almost, I got into sound healing before it was cool and trendy. And that first time that I played a crystal bowl was literally life-changing for me. I didn't even know what it was. And I didn't know how to play it. I'd never seen someone play it. I'd never heard them play it, but I just intuitively knew how to play it. And a lot of people say, have you been trained? What's your background? And the truth is I did end up taking some courses and stuff because I felt like I needed to. But in the end, it's a channeling of spirit through you, and you don't really need to be trained. And I have to tell you that part because I didn't know what a huge piece of my life was what was going to happen in my life just from playing a sound bowl once in my living room by myself. And it literally changed the course of what I did in my life. It has literally just been life-changing for me because at one point, I have my friends coming over and it's like, oh, come for dinner. And then we're doing a little circle of, sound bath in my basement for fun to, okay, now I have clients, to now I'm doing massive sound baths, to now I have wait lists, to, oh my gosh, my business is really busy, but now I have 2 businesses and this is really growing rapidly. And then all of a sudden I wake up in the middle of the night and I'm like, I need to build a sound temple, literally. And I look at my husband and I say, we're spiritually awakened people. This is what keeps us together. We're really opposite kinds. We're a couple that are really polar opposites. But what we have in common is that we're on a spiritual path and we are on this journey together. And he said, I will build it and people will come. And so I said, okay, where are we going to go? And so we said, well, first we have to sell our businesses and do all these things here in Seattle. And sell our homes and sell our vacation homes and our rental property. I mean, like, it wasn't a minor thing to unload all of the things that we unloaded. And we were like, well, no one really buys a business like yours, my husband's. So we'll see if it gets an offer. And my God, it had multiple offers and it sold almost immediately. And we were like, well, I guess this is a sign. And then the next thing you know, our house, which was reset the neighborhood, I mean, in its price range, that sold in no time. And then everything's selling. And we're like, I guess we're doing this. And we didn't even know where we were going to go. And we pulled out of 5 or 6 different transactions in different places in the world before we felt like it was actually right. And we got to the jungle and we were renting the house because it was a vacation rental. It wasn't for sale that we knew of. And we must have looked at 100 houses and we just didn't like anything. And we kept coming back to Tulum and not really loving Tulum necessarily, but something about that rental property. And then we found out we could buy that house. And we're like, we don't know why we want to live in the middle of the jungle. It's not even in town. It's not like this is going to be hard for people to come see me. There was no easiness to this, but we both were like, this is the property. I mean, this is it. So long story short, we built it. And I thought, how are people going to even find me? And Megan's a great example of that because she found me on Instagram. I mean, that's all I've ever done is have an Instagram account. I'm only word by mouth. I mean, it's been a huge journey in trusting the universe, but the universe has literally opened doors, opened doors, opened doors. But my point to this really, and I'm sorry if this is long-winded, that you should really understand is that I had this calling to come and open this. And then next thing you know, coronavirus hits and there's this massive global pandemic. Okay, so then I'm thinking, wow, I got set up to do this, that I would be in position to assist people with healing during this tumultuous time. But it goes deeper than that, because what really happened was the universe put Megan and Crystal together and we became a trio, and we just developed something that I never ever thought would happen. And I'm really deeply moved by this because I knew that vibration and frequency and sound and healing was something that I was supposed to do. And I'm so fortunate that I have a property that people can come to, and we have a venue that we can have concerts and events, not just in the Sound Temple, but in the cave and at our water temple. And I feel, I just am tired. It's too much for me to do alone. And to all of a sudden have this fun band that we've created and this momentum, I actually think, if nothing happens, we had a lot of fun. Yeah. But if something does happen, which obviously we're starting to get, thinking about bookings and people are interested in us and things like that, moving forward, all we're doing is sharing a healing frequency with the world. And it's in a different way than just coming to a sound bath. And we're actually trending forward, moving sound healing into a mass production kind of. Does that make sense? Like we might be on the beach in Tulum at a club. We might be in a cave with 100 people. We might be at a cenote. We might be in Chicago. We're going to be in Seattle. We might be in Nashville and Austin and doing things where people are coming to us and dropping in and feeling this vibe and this frequency. And all of us have gifts that we're sharing. Crystal has gifts. Megan has gifts. I have gifts. And together, it just makes magic. Yeah. So it's so much deeper than
yes.
deeper than a sisterhood. It's just this beautiful, magical reaction. And I think I feel pretty blessed, and I can't say anything other than the universe literally put us together, because how else would this have happened?
Yeah.
Right?
I know. Yeah. True that.
It's so true, because it's like, I feel like I've had spiritual awakenings. I've had enlightenment. And it all started from brain damage I had from a brain and spinal cord infection. And I found out from a book that you can heal yourself. And I was like, I can heal myself. Okay, I'm going to get through this. Like, this is, I've got 2 little kids and I'm going to get through this. And so I started meditating. And I always thought that for me, meditation was just for me. Like, it was just a process that it was personal. Like, I didn't even always share it with people that I meditated. I just kind of thought this is my own personal thing. And it was really, really healing for me in that process. And I needed it. And then when coronavirus happened, and we're just kind of, I'm a busy person. I'm always going. I have some time to meditate more, I'm like, oh, I'm going to readopt my meditation practice. I'm going to bring this out from the cupboard, and I'm going to get into it again. And as I was talking to friends and different people, they'd be like, well, how do you do it? How do you meditate? And I'm like, doesn't everyone meditate? Like, in my head, I thought everyone had this. So I started doing guided meditations to try to help just my friends. Like it was really, Joey, like you're talking about having people in your basement. It was kind of the same thing, but it was coronavirus. So I would just go live on Facebook, and whoever, like, it was only my close friends that would watch. And I would have the speaker on in the background with some music, and Facebook started blocking me. And I was like, so frustrated, and I'm like, you know what? If this is how it is, then I need to be able to have my own music so I don't get blocked, and that was the spark for me when I realized I needed music in my lives and in my life. And then, to reconnect with Joey after years of knowing you, and, but not like, it's not like we like hung out a lot or anything, like, and then to, realize what music really meant to me. It turned into this whole other healing journey that I was not so much for my physical being this time, but more for my soul. And that's like, I don't know, that's why it is so magical, because it's like, I didn't even know I needed it. But I believe everyone can feel it when they listen.
Yeah, that's so amazing. I love learning more about you, Crystal, and actually you, Joey, too, through these stories. I just had like a download. Like, I think for me, so I was in a kind of I had like a lot of, I guess, it was a bit of a traumatic year because I lost all my business as a DJ. I mean, I was like the end of that, and, I didn't know wasn't making money. I mean, my whole livelihood was crushed, which ultimately led me to live in Tulum for part of the year last year, which was honestly the best thing that ever happened to me, in many ways. I really got to deal with some healings myself in some areas that I didn't know I need healing. And so it was such an interesting time in my life when this came about. And the download I just had was, because I've always wanted to do this. So I used to like seek out sound baths because I have a hard time meditating, but with the bowls and the gongs, it's the vibration. It's so good for my nervous system. As many people, it's not, I didn't struggle through it. And so it was such an expander for me. Hence, I'm Googling it on Instagram, searching to find Joey. But I think that I shied away from being more authentic and what I really believed in as far as music goes and who I am. I've shied away from it. And I think that actually, like, I needed both of you. Like, I needed like a collaboration, because I don't think I would have done it on my own. So part of me, what I'm just getting and connecting now, is just like, this was a gift for me, because I don't know if I would have been out there like this if it had not come across both of you.
Yeah, I feel the same. Joey, I think you probably do too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's what I meant. Like the crystal bowl changed my life because it put me on a trajectory to go to Mexico. And I thought that's all I was going to be doing. And then all of a sudden I was like, let's connect. When you mentioned, let's go, hey, our mutual friend has the studio and you booked some time there. And I'm thinking, oh, I've been dying to do that. And a lot of my clients are asking me to do sound healing all the time, but I can't do it really in the jungle very well. And I'm having the equipment and it's just too much at this point. But yeah, someday I'd like to. And you're like, well, no, I already booked it. I'm like, awesome. But then I'm thinking, how random is this? I'm like, well, Crystal, all my bowls are in Mexico. And she's like, I'll come to Mexico. And I'm thinking, okay, but again, I have no equipment. She's like, I got some equipment, right? And I'm like, okay, great. And then next thing you know, Megan calls, or I meet Megan, and I'm thinking, she's a DJ. She's got to have this really great equipment. She lives here. Like, I bet she'd be phenomenal and be like this puzzle piece that fits in if we include her. And so I feel like it was just sort of this really wildly divine situation that got us all together. But the truth is, not one of us knew that it was actually going to be anything more than just a fun jam session, right?
100.
Yeah, totally.
So,
honestly, I was excited about it, but when I was like, 3 days to spend at that place, fuck yeah, I'm in. I wasn't even there. Others like, oh, we're making music. I'll come to that portal and hang out.
It became such a beautiful, it is a portal there, but but for us three, it really was a magical divine portal, and we entered it. And I think we entered it. You want to know the moment it happened? We were in the cave, and we were preparing to go into ceremony upstairs, and we'd already in the Sound Temple set it all up, but we were down in the cave. And Chris was like, let's set our intentions. And we held hands, and we set our intentions. And then I just all of a sudden channeled something. It came in really hard, and I just go, da 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 da, and I said whatever I said. Yeah. And Crystal goes, holy shit, you just brought it. Remember? And
and we were like, standing in the water. Do you remember that?
And at this point, I was like I was fully charged and ready to go. But it was until that moment that it just electrified through me. And I was like ready to vibrate at that moment. So when we went up to the Sound Temple, we just recorded all that stuff. You guys enjoyed a sound bath that first time. And then we all jammed together and had so much fun. And it was just a great experience. Everybody had their own artful way of doing things. And, it's been fun because we're all different, but we all have shared in ideas, and everybody's been really happy to hear everybody else's version. And I mean, we're all business women that are successful with ideas that are important to us. And there's not been one time that we're grumpy or, that we're not like open to hearing, because we're all living in open heart space. So that's a beautiful thing, because how often does that happen?
Yeah,
right.
Well, and I think you guys remember when Megan was in Seattle and I couldn't go on the boat with you guys. Like, I just couldn't. And it's when I realized that all I wanted to do was like do this path of music, but my life, like my phone kept ringing because of work. And like, my life was getting in the way of my life. And it was pissing me off, like, because I wanted to just focus on doing the music and I didn't want my phone to ring. And so these last few months, you guys have made major changes in my life. Like I kind of sort of just quit my job. Like the part of me, I do a lot of things, but the part of me that was actually making revenue, I just it was bugging me, and I haven't been doing it anymore. I don't know if that's just complete insanity, but I think life is really short.
It's insanity, Crystal, but you know what? It wasn't aligning with you.
It wasn't.
You're moving towards something that's aligning with you right now.
Exactly. And I don't know where it is or what it is, where I'm going with any of this, but it feels right. And it feels like I am in the right place. And all those details will just figure themselves out. I have enough, and I did some crypto stuff, and, I'm not being like amiss about it. I realize I need to like support my family and stuff. So I have a plan, but who knows if like my plan will really work, because it's uncharted territories, so, but this just feels so right. And to hear other people's affirmation when they tell us like your friend Megan said that they listened to it, I can't remember, in the float tank. Was that it? And like,
yeah. And I had somebody else reflect, they're going through cancer. So during a treatment, and then I was on a call with her, she's like, I put on Megan's new album, to have like, to feel the good vibes. And I like, one, didn't know she knew about the album. And two, you kind of, at least I forgot people were going to listen. Like I was like, we're making this for us. And then my mom was like, oh, I love the ohms. I'm like, what? My dad's like, are these your beats? I mean, I was out. It kind of blows my mind when people are reflecting back, about it as well. Yeah. And I think I just want to say too, like trusting, like Crystal, your story about your job or whatever. I mean, and Joey, you moving to Seattle, it's just such profound. So I feel like we can trust, and what you're talking about 11/11, and it's going to be prosperous. Like, I think we're in denial of how much is actually available. There's abundance all around. And we in our minds create these stories that we can't do these things. We can't follow our dreams. We can't follow our heart. And I just don't think that's the world that we live in, and so I think like, fuck yeah, like trust. You're not being reckless. And the reckless is just a mind game, So I just think I respect you both a lot in the ways that you follow your own intuition.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, as you guys are talking, I'm thinking, yeah, our album's great and the tracks are all different and it's really there. I mean, I enjoy listening. I have it on repeat. My son, who I can't believe is Mr. Businessman, has it on repeat while he's working all day, and he says it's really relaxing and he loves it. I've had a lot of feedback on, you know, people who are deeply spiritual listening to it and saying that, you know, they're going into astral travel. They're, you know, there's, you know, if you're really into that and you're locked in and you're open to receiving that kind of thing, it definitely can take you there, or it can just be a relaxation meditation sort of thing. But I think the magic that's going to happen, you guys, isn't this album. The magic that's going to start happening is on the 19th when we're all together and there's a live session. Yeah. And we're starting to play, because now we aren't just jamming. Now we're playing and channeling, and all three of us are. And it's going to be a different experience than trying to see what people like on the first album. And hopefully we'll get some video from that, because it's going to be a lot more real and authentic. Not that our album's not, but this is the new version of us that's come out that the album has created, right? So we created the album, and now the album has created us, and we're moving into that growth. And so moving forward now, everything we do is going to be so dynamic and so just empowered and so channeled. And I'm super, super excited to see where that takes us, because I think the magic is just happening. Like, we're just going to the doorway now.
Yeah.
And that's what people are going to want to hear also, right?
Yeah.
Because it's going to be an experience.
I agree, because I think that, you know, a lot of times when we can hear these vibrations in our ears and like you said, the album it's produced. It's not live of what we were doing in the jungle, but it's the essence of what we're doing. But when we're all three together and the vibrations, you can actually feel them. And then we're sharing that with this, you know, small group of people in Seattle, and it's going to be special. I mean, we're sharing a little bit of all of our souls with everybody. And I think that, I think it's going to be pretty magical.
And I think like one of the keys, you know, to that, and I feel like this way when I DJ, it's like, I almost have to get out of my own way to let spirit and to let source channel through me. And so it's like such a disservice to think it's like me, you know? And so I think we're three really powerful human beings. Then together we're so powerful, but what's going to come collectively through us, like I might not become unconscious. Like, I think it's going to be really, really powerful. And I have no idea, like you're saying, where it's leading or heading, but I will say this has also felt somewhat effortless. It hasn't been like necessarily easy, but it hasn't been hard. I just don't think we've chosen to make it hard. We like, you know, made a design and made a website and sold tickets, and like, we didn't know how to do any of those things, you know? And and look what we've created basically just by collaborating, like, yeah, that feels good. And it's so profound to me that this is what's come of it.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that 100%.
Yeah. It's like when all three of us focused our attention on this, I just knew it was going to be amazing. I didn't even know the details about it. Like, I didn't, you know, like, because a lot of times, like, I am pretty psychic. I'll see images or things that I know they're in the future. I don't always know how far in the future or details, but this time it was a feeling. It was deeper than a vision. It was a feeling. And I was like, this is going to be amazing, because that feeling felt so good. Like, it was like I was glowing, like from the inside out, just like, oh my God, this is so awesome. And every time I talk about it, I would just tell people, you know, like, oh my gosh, I'm working on this thing. And I wouldn't even tell people the details, because honestly, I didn't know. Like, are we going to want to like share this? I'm not sure. Like, So, I was kind of hoping that we could use it as the soundtrack to the documentary that I'm working on, but I didn't want to tell the other producers and I didn't want to tell the creator because I was like, well, what if they don't like it, and so then when we presented the rough cut to them with the soundtrack of The Omniscience underneath it, and they didn't even know that that was like my music yet. And then when I said I made this with my friends, they were like, oh my God, like we liked it, but now we love it, so it was like, it was a cool surprise to like be able to just say like, we have a soundtrack now.
I think I agree with that. And one of the things that I also have learned, it's like, I used to sort of judge like, oh, these are spiritual people that will get it, and these aren't spiritual people that get it. Like I like split and I put people into categories, and like, that was my own shit. That was my own blindness to wanting to, probably because I felt vulnerable and scared. And so when this came out, I played it for my friend in a hotel room and she's like, Megan, this is like your coming out party. And I was like, huh? She's like, this is like who you really are. And I was like, oh yeah, you're right. Is this like too much or whatever? I mean, the amount of support and feedback and love that I've gotten on it, and I don't give two shits. Like, it's not about what people think about it. Yeah. Like, wherever, it'll hit them wherever they're at. If they want to like go to sleep with it, amazing. If they want to astral travel, amazing. And it's such a lesson in like, I was trying to like control the outcome, and there was like nothing to control, and so it's maybe a surprise to people, I guess. And I know you guys have reflected some of the similar things with your business communities that I did this, but like, I don't know. It was my own stuff. So it's just showed me like when we come to Chicago, like I want to bring everyone in, and it's just a doorway wherever you're at to like more expansion, consciousness,
absolutely,
really meeting themselves.
Absolutely. We're just sharing frequency. That's the beautiful thing. One bowl does that. And now there's 3 people channeling all these beautiful, I mean, think about it. We have NASA's
space
sound of space that's recorded in the background of one of our tracks. That is literally the sound of the universe. And it's such a relaxing, beautiful, like ominous sound, right? And how about the name Omniscience? So cool, right?
Yeah, that
so
is
cool,
Crystal.
I mean, yeah,
right? Let's call it a change of group. It's much more in alignment.
It is. It was, I have a friend who, he said, I don't know how to play music, but I'm really good at making band names. Does anyone need some band names? And so.
Really?
Yeah. I haven't even shared this yet. And so, his name's Millie Millick. And so Millie, like.
Wait, is Millie coming to our ceremony?
He has to now.
He named us. Like,
I'm sending him a message. He has to be there.
He
sent me like a bunch of names for meditation bands. It was like a list, and I was like, and I picked my top 3, and I had a favorite, like, but I wasn't going to say what it was. And I sent them to you guys to see like what you thought, because we had called ourselves Triangle Creations, but it wasn't getting the essence for me. Like it just was, I don't know, it wasn't, there was something missing and I didn't know what it was. And so I thought I'll just throw it out there. And then you both loved Omniscience as much as I did. I had the same reaction. I was just like, oh my God, that's genius. I love it. And so yeah, when we brought the album out, I sent it to Millie, but I didn't invite him to the VIP party. So now that's what I'm going to do. I'm writing it down so I don't forget, but I'm sending Millie a message.
That's awesome. I know. I remember I sent a text. I'm like, oh, all 3 names are good, but the Omniscience is awesome. Like that. I can't believe you came up with that.
I know. Millie, shout out to Millie.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Go Millie.
That's like, using everyone's strengths, why not? He threw it out there and he was, throwing it out to the universe. It's kind of what we did too. And so it's like, cool. This is like, I don't know. And it really was magic, more magic.
So I have a question for you that I've never asked for both of you. So when you're in, like, when we're practicing, we're doing our live show, what is how do you approach the music? Like, what is your intention? Like, how do you create? I know we're going to co-create, but I was just curious, like individually, like what goes through your mind, body, and soul?
Yeah. I'll go first if that's
Sure,
okay.
go ahead.
Um, so for me, I can't follow a beat like that exists. It's very rare that I can follow a beat. So the fact that you guys even will play music with me is unbelievable because when we're drumming, I am like the worst. Like I cannot keep a beat. But I've realized that I have this vibration in me, and it's not like any other one I've heard before. And so I just kind of like be me, and it's a little like random, and I don't know exactly, but I just be me, and and then I start making some sound, and I get like a feeling that it feels right, but it's not always right because like when I was playing my flute, like it wasn't coming through me like other things were. So it's like, I don't know, it's a little bit of experimentation and then like kind of listening to that or feeling that like vibration that exists like in me, and then kind of seeing how that comes out. But like I don't think that I have a preconceived idea about what it's going to sound like because I don't know.
So for me, this is a ceremony to me, and it's always a ceremony. I don't touch a bowl. I don't just walk in and start playing the bowl for fun. It's always a preset intention, and my intention is always to share the frequency and the love and healing and vibration that someone might need. So it's a little different if I'm one-on-one with someone or if I'm with a group. I play to the group, obviously, so this is going to be playing to the group. And I do a lot to set up before I play for people. And it's a lot in your mind and in your heart. And then when I start to play, I truly open up like a straw. That's the only way I can explain it. I feel like I'm a straw, and I have divine consciousness coming down through me, through my straw, and it comes out through my hands. And it's like a light that shines through me. It's like a white light, I guess, like a sparkly white light. And that's what comes out of me, and it guides me to what bowls I play and how I do it. And if I ever do light language, which I'll probably do at this concert, that just comes out when it comes out. It's not something that I can just say, oh, I'm going to do this now. And it doesn't always come out. So when it does, I feel very like angels are coming through me. So I've always worked with, divinity, that's how I channel anything. I also work with the crystalline grid when I'm in the jungle, because we built that space. And so I like to pull up from the center of the earth and use that crystalline energy. But always am I channeling consciousness, and only that is the light is all that I ever work with, obviously. But I do feel like I set that intent and I allow that energy to course through me. And it's the one time in my life when I feel like you can't talk to me or do anything. Like I'm not watching what Crystal's doing or what Megan's doing. Yes, I'm looking around because I'm aware and I'm alive and I'm not some zombie, but I am truly allowing energy to go through me and just do what it needs to do. And so if it's supposed to be resonating, it resonates. If it's going to be dissonant for a moment and it's going to be breaking up, with frequency and energy, what people need at that moment, then that's okay. Because that's the beauty of crystal bowls. You can play them in their notes and they can harmonize, but then sometimes you don't want them to be doing that. And that's when it, kind of sounds a little bit more aggressive and you hear a little more of the edge of the bowls and things like that. And maybe it's not harmonizing correctly. And that's okay. And every sound healer does that, because that's when you're actually breaking up what needs to be broken up in the room. So it's kind of fun to play for a big group because there's so much energy. And to me, because I see auras when people are laying there, and that's why I have everyone wear white, right? Because it allows the aura to expand outward. So when you're looking at a group, you see some darkness, and those people are the ones you need to walk over, and that might be sadness, it might be whatever it is. I can never claim to know what that is, but there's an intuition that leads you there. And you can kind of feel through looking at shadow and light that's around a person who might need a little bit more over them. So I have the practitioner bell going over that person, or I'm spritzing a little bit more of something over that person. And, it's just a whole beautiful ceremony. and the intent is always healing and love. And I guess that's a long answer. Sorry.
No,
But,
I love hearing
that's how I
both
play.
of you, because I don't think we often like articulate it, and
Right.
it's just interesting to like learn and observe. And I was thinking about, so when I DJ, so I think one of my clairsenses, right,
Mhm.
is like, I know I don't really visually see things or hear things, but I like know. So I had this really weird thing when I DJ. I will know to play another song. Like, and I sometimes, if I get my head about it, I'm like, well, it doesn't really make sense. It doesn't, this crowd. So I've really tried to like shut this off and do more of this, like listening to this knowing. And, you know, it's always playing with energies and building the energy. But I have to add to what you're saying, it's largely my intuition and me just sort of being super open. But I have this thing, what I do with all my events is like, there's a moment when I feel like I feel like I have to like sort of gain people's trust to feel safe with me. And I think that's the same in a ceremony. And so that first part, unless they come in ready to go, but you know, which is kind of rare, is like really allowing people to like get me, feel me, I feel them, and they feel, I guess, somewhat held and safe. And then that is the magic point when I like have them, that I can really create or co-create with them and take them on a ride. And I think that similar in a ceremony where it's sort of the build up for people, and you kind of know intuitively when they have dropped in, surrendered or somewhat let go. And I think that's such a magic point in whatever space you're in with music. And the other thing I was reflecting is I kind of hit it hard. Like I have this sort of aggressive way of DJing, not necessarily with music and sound, because I think this is why I feel like there's way too many male DJs, because they actually like pound the shit out of bass. And I think it's actually kind of destructive. I have a lot of thoughts about this stuff, but I always think, I never really honored the silence. And that's what I love about a sound bath, is that with the polarity of the loud and the gongs and the no sound, and there's such a play and such a dance with space and music and frequency and vibration, that I feel like this is really allowing to tap into. And I'm appreciating this. I'm appreciating silence, because I used to be someone who like didn't want to be my own silence. I'm always on the go. And I'm just learning through this process to appreciate the quietness as well.
Absolutely. And I think this will be really fun for you, Megan, because you're used to people dancing. And this is going to be, we're putting them into this magical theta state, right? Where it's deep relaxation. And when they get into that, that's the magic point you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as when you're controlling the environment of your normal DJing. But in this intentional situation, you're going to see that there's a moment when everybody gets into that exact vibration.
Yeah.
And they're all hitting theta. And at that moment, it's like you're meshing as one. And it's super, super cool to take them into that. And that quiet, and then you're right, the clash of the quiet and the gongs and the bowls and whatever is playing, you're so attuned to it that when you're like, oh, I hear it. You can hear a footstep. You can hear whatever it is. And at that moment, you know that you're just one with the universe. And I think that's what everybody wants, right? So
yeah,
it's such a beautiful space. Yeah.
And the vibrations, this is my experience, and I think studies prove this. I like literally been researching crystal bowls, because I feel like I need to up my game a little bit now that I'm playing with the bowls. Just so you know, I may have listened to a few podcasts, so I really wanted to kind of get it, you know, in a way. So anyways, just so you know that.
Love it.
But I was gonna say that what were we just talking about? I'm sorry.
I don't know, but I have to say I love your commitment, because that's like I feel like I've kind of been doing similar. Like I get all these global sound healing like online like forums and stuff, and I start reading like the neuroscience behind it, and so I've kind of been in the same mode of like submersing myself with this knowledge, because everyone's path, it takes us in a completely different way. And like Joey, you've been doing this research over like 10 years, and it's completely amazing. And I feel like you kind of like, gave us this gateway, and now Megan and I can really run with it because we're using your knowledge as knowledge base too, so we can build up even higher than if we were just, you know, solo trying to do something like this. So it makes it more, you know, like we all kind of build on each other.
Yep. That's beautiful. And what the thing I was going to add to that I think I've learned through your sound baths is, you know, so much of the healing and ascension journey is through our bodies. And historically, and I think spirituality can get very heady where we want to sort of bypass. And I think the power of these live elements that I can do with speakers, but it doesn't have the same vibration, is to bring people to their bodies. And I think that is so powerful as well.
I agree. I totally agree. It's like, yeah, it's really profound.
And Joey has these at our sound temple. She has swings where people. So basically, you feel like you're floating. Hammocks. White linen hammocks. Thank you. And you. Thank you. Thank you very much. And they also like turn, so it's like a full moment of surrender in the air as these gongs are going around you. So maybe we can eventually build that out.
Like, doesn't it feel like a womb?
Oh, that's good.
Like
so the way that I envisioned it was it's either like a cocoon that you're, you know, having your transformational journey in, or it's a womb and you're having a rebirth as you come out. So, you know, that whole time that you're in it, journeying through the sound bath, that's your own personal journey. So it kind of is holding you.
Yeah.
And so that womb or cocoon, that's the whole point of it.
Yeah. I love it.
Well, there's no bigger honor to a sound healer or sound practitioner in the world than to have someone want to learn more about sound bowls and play crystal bowls and start doing research. So to me, my life's been made. That makes me happy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This has been a really super exhilarating journey.
I think a lot of people that are going to listen to this are probably like, what the heck is a sound bath? Right? Because I think a lot of people, it's a trendy thing and it's really well known in the spiritual world. Of course, it's now really taken off, which is amazing and awesome. But a lot of people still don't know what a sound bath is.
I think you're right.
And that's why on my latest Facebook post, I think my real estate clients, because really my Facebook's for real estate, are like, what is she doing? You know, this is a really strange, has she lost her marbles? And now she's like, it's a meditational sound bath journey thing. Like, you know, because they don't necessarily know that side of me because I'm, you know, they know the other side of me. And so I'm laughing at that because I had to put an explanation and description in it because I thought people are like, what is this? You know, I mean, and really all it is you're just having a sonic massage. We're playing a symphony of sound, of crystalline frequencies and vibrations, and that can sound hippy dippy and weird, but the truth is it's so relaxing for people with anxiety, people who aren't feeling well, who are dealing with cancer, who have ADD, who can't relax, can't sleep, or, you know, there's so many things it can aid with that, you know, you can just come to relax. I always tell people that come, like, people will book with me in the jungle and they'll say, oh my God, my husband doesn't want to come, or my sister doesn't want to come because they just think it's weird. And I say, okay, well, they don't have to come, first of all, but if they do choose to join you, just tell them to come and relax. There doesn't need to be an expectation that you're going to be shooting through a rocket portal, you know, and going to Mars and visiting aliens and doing all these crazy things, because that's freaking people out. It's more about just enjoying this beautiful sound, because my God, is it not the most beautiful sound? I mean, and an album can never actually show that, because it's when you're in person, you hear that ding and that beautiful sound when you're circling the bowl. That tone is so lovely. I mean, it's like angels. It is so pretty.
Yeah.
People don't understand that, you know, until they experience it. And then it's like, oh, I get it now.
Right. So. And all the different frequencies, because there's different frequencies, and a lot of pop music is made with a frequency. They're not mindful of using the frequencies. I've been studying this amazing artist called Major, and he makes all of his music in 432 hertz, which is the frequency of love.
Yep.
And so he's like sneaking in healing music and love energy into his music. And so it's amazing what these actual frequencies are doing and like doing to our chakras, which is, we don't have to get into, but there's so many scientifically proven things as well that's happening with the magic.
So every single sound bowl is tuned to a different chakra. First of all, the colors, if they're alchemy bowls and they have colors and they're infused with healing crystals, the color also comes into play because of color therapy for spirituality, right? But moreover, my new bowls that we put on the album and that I'm going to have in the concert when we're live on the 19th are crystal clear, and every single bowl, as well as my crystal quartzophone and the practitioner bells, are all tuned to 432 love frequency. So that's everything going through all of our music is the love frequency, which is really cool because people don't even will never understand how incredibly powerful that really is, and that what we're sharing is so beautiful and so special. And yeah, it sounds pretty, but it's so much deeper than that. So it makes it pretty cool.
And I think we should add too, because Crystal, you've been working on, like, we actually have music videos to accompany the songs that we're working on. We have 2 out right now. And I think like also I think there's more to like create and play within that too. And we've talked about like doing projections and things like that too, because visually you're bringing the sounds, the frequencies to life, which is adds a whole other dimension to it.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I know a lot of times I like listening to music with my eyes closed, especially when we were in the studio and we were like kind of mashing things together and producing the sound, making it have the right feeling. I know I have to like close my eyes, but I think that when you're not that intimate with it, then the visuals help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, because I know when I'm closing my eyes and listening, there's certain like feeling that goes through, but I think, we're really accustomed to walking around with our eyes open. And so we don't tap into all of those senses in our daily lives. So like, I do think that when our eyes are open, the visuals can really help tap into that deeper level of our, of our consciousness.
Yeah, I think you have a gift for that.
So we have a multi-sensorial album because people can lay down and listen to it while they're sleeping. They can have it in the background while they're working for relaxation, or say someone's doing facials or massages or something, that works as well. Or they can look at our visuals, which are pretty cosmic and cool and tell a little story also. So it's pretty neat. Are you guys ready? Are you guys super ready for next Friday?
I feel like we need practice. Like, I'm really excited for this weekend when we get to, really kind of see where we're all three at, energetically, like in together again, because it's been a few months, and I'm really excited. Like, I'm excited to see what comes out.
I mean, shout out to Megan, who's flying to Seattle all the time. That's amazing.
I know, right?
Both of you who are coming back to Tulum in December. Like, what? I can't even believe that. It's working out. That's pretty cool. And I mean,
it's so fun. I mean, it's like, do I want to go like play music in Seattle this weekend? Fuck yeah, so I don't know. It is hard to travel and manage our schedules for sure. But I'll say, like, I don't know, in the pandemic, it just sort of like where we're located, like, doesn't really matter anymore, in my opinion. And so it's just like not a big deal, So I'm really excited to go back to Tulum.
I know, that'll be fun. We're gonna have fun. It's gonna be really fun.
I know. I just feel like I like walk in your doorway and I'm like start vibrating and I'm like, what is happening? I mean, it's such a magical place.
It is.
Thank you.
It has, I know Joey knows this. We all know this, but I'm just gonna say it. But it's where the asteroid hit that like killed the dinosaurs. Like it's got this energy and how you were talking before, Megan, about like polarity of like, like the two polar opposites. It has like this kind of almost like eerie feeling, yet really exciting and like off in the stars feeling too. Like it's got a crazy energy there.
Definitely.
Yeah,
well, I think our property
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think our property, not only did the asteroid hit in the Tulum area to create the start of the ice age, but it broke into all the thousands of pieces, and we happen to have that one piece hit our property, right, where the cave is. So you have to explain that. I think the energy is just clearly still there, because you can't go in that cave and that cenote and not feel it. I mean, there's just...
It's in the water, it's in the walls, it's dripping from it.
I've never, ever, there's probably been 1,000 people through there now. I'm not kidding you, because I've had groups of 20 and 15 and 17, and I mean, I've been doing that for a couple of years now, so probably 1,000 people. And not one person hasn't walked in there and said, what is happening here? I mean, like,
I believe it.
Place, right? I mean, which is like, wow, they feel it too. I'm so glad, it makes you feel great, because that's obviously my husband's conscious creation also, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, this is all intentionally created just to have this effect. So I'm really glad.
I can't wait to do a concert there. I'm sure we will someday.
Oh, I'm super excited. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. 2022, yeah, we're doing it.
It's going to be a good year.
It's going to be a great year. I'm excited about 2022. I think it's going to be, it's also super scary, like when you're launching into something so unknown. It's like, wow, like wow, I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah. Doesn't it kind of feel like that's just how it is everywhere right now? I'm just here for the ride.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been an unprecedented couple years.
Mm-hmm. And I think, a lot of times things happen and things come together, but like maybe the timing's off, or there's like something strange or whatever. But I feel like the timing is so right now that people need healing, and so it's not only healing for us, but like every person that feels it, like I think Megan said, it hits you at a different time. It's like whatever you need, it kind of you're going to get something out of it that's positive. There's nothing negative about it. There's really, it's all positive.
Yeah. That's the beauty of crystal bowls.
Yeah.
That's what they do. That's so nice.
Can I tell you a funny story? Because I might have texted it to you guys, but I was down at the beach playing my bowls under my pyramid, and I was with my friend Tamara, and it was around Halloween, and so they were having a witch paddle. So all these witches were like in their costumes, and they're paddling out, and like, I'm the one, and so after, when the witches came in, they're like, oh wow, thank you for playing, this was amazing, and then they asked us our name, and I was like, oh, I'm Crystal and Tamara, and this one lady's like, that's not your real name, like, what's your name? I'm like, no, really, and my name is Crystal. Like, I was born with it.
That's awesome. That's so awesome.
I just love that you were like down there with your bowls and under the pyramid.
Inner pyramid, yeah.
Playing for witches, and it's in some ways we it is we are the modern witches, of this, and we have a lot of freedom, and I think a lot of responsibility too to like share it, which is I think what we're doing, in this. And it's so funny because I've been thinking too, like, I don't know if I won't get into it, but there's a Travis Scott concert, and it was horrible, and people died, and I really kind of went deep into thinking about it, and on the power of that music and the frequencies of that music, and it's
exactly right, Megan. Exactly right. There can be positive frequency and negative frequency.
Yeah,
and that is an example of that. Yeah.
And I never really thought how like obviously dangerous it is. Like it was always sort of a side note, and I was like, wow, like as much of healing is emerging, there's also this totally other side of it that's super dangerous. And I think that there's a lot going on in the world right now, and this is tragic. And so it's really made me think about, I think discernment so important, and not giving ourselves over. So although we're doing so much, I just think there's so much wrapped into this with personal responsibility, being careful of what we receive and like let in, and things as an intuitive person and someone that's channeling and opening myself up, just also how much we have to sort of protect ourselves and, you know, have people protect themselves. And there's just a whole lot wrapped up, which is probably like a second podcast that I really been thinking about as well.
I think
I'm so glad you brought that up.
Go ahead, Joey.
Sorry. I'm so glad you brought that up, because I think it's important. The number one most important thing is that we individually stay pure and always with light, and that enables us as a group to be so much more powerful, you know, and because you can have a bad day, you can have bad, you know, be upset with something, and then that just allows something in that doesn't need to be there, you know. And so each of us are really strong women that have our own abilities to deal with that. And that's really a beautiful thing, because I don't think there's a weakness within the three of us in our triangle. But that concert was a really big eye opener to remind you, a big reminder, I guess, that you know, all these healing frequencies are out there, but very easily. And people have been talking about how music has evil stuff in it for years, right?
Yep.
I mean, since the 50s, 60s, whatever, right? And it really does. I mean, what's the intent behind whoever's doing it, you know? Yeah. And so our intention is always going to be beautiful and loving and healing, and that's what we're based on. So that makes us a little different, obviously, because we're not just rapping, we're not just doing pop music, we're actually in it to assist people with healing.
Yeah, and it's very intentional, like you were saying, like every single thing that we play and do, there's a reason for it. There's a background in it. There's thoughtful around what we're choosing. And I think you have to play, like, I think we're all aligned, like we're everything, you know, even today, Crystal, you're like, let's open up with like, you know, a meditation. Like, I was like, oh, we should, like, I just think that is, I love that value of our group, of our band.
Yeah.
When is this coming out, Crystal?
So I want this out tomorrow. I want this to hit tomorrow.
Okay, well then I think we should say our concert's the 19th. I'm such like, well, you guys are in sales too. I'm like, yo.
Go for it.
And we have a few more tickets. We're going to sell out. So if you are inspired, I think, how could you not listen to this and not want to come? But you should come. We have a few tickets left for our debut ceremony at Mob Studios on the 19th.
I love when we call our ceremony an album drop. Like, I just love that.
Album drop VIP ceremony. I'm always like, well, it's all the thing.
Whatever.
But imagine, like, if you really dropped something, it makes a vibration when it hits. So it's exactly what we're doing.
It is. You're so right.
Yeah. I love Crystal. I love your thinking, Crystal. That works.
If you need anything random, I'm here for you.
Like our name? Well, I guess that's Millie. Shout out to Millie again. Now we know the truth.
I think like there was something not working, and then I saw that he did that, and I was like, it's the name. And then I'm like, wait, do you have any name ideas?
No, you're great about that. Like you follow, I feel like you follow threads, and then you come back and you're like, I got it. I don't know. I can't quite explain it, but it's not like you know where you're going to be or what you're looking for always. And then it's like, here it is. And we're all like, yeah.
Well, I love both of you. Thanks for connecting. It's fun to see you. And I will see you both in like 2 days.
Yeah. Friday. I'm coming.
All right. Let's do this. Love you both.
All right. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Sun, together on one planet. Let us gather with open hearts and open minds, with intent and gratitude, connect.